What is up, guys? I'm A Thompson, and it is time for an alternative paper review. First up to the I, who say Trump 2.0 is a threat to the UK. This is a warning being given by Britain's top diplomats. It says the government needs urgent contingency plans to protect the UK from massive security risks if Trump is re-elected as US president this year. To which my reaction is, well, yeah, on the face of it, I guess that is something that we should be protecting against. Trump was heavily rumoured to be the victim of a compromat scam. You may recall a theory that first surfaced about 8 or 9 years ago that suggested that while he stayed in a hotel in Russia, Trump was recorded on FSB hidden cameras doing some interesting stuff with some Russian ladies. The theory went some way to explaining why Trump himself could never say a bad word in public about Vladimir Putin. But separate to that, you might recall he almost created an international nuclear incident when he went toe-to-toe with Kim Jong-un. And then there was the US-EU summit, where he was just sat there with his arms crossed, huffing at Angela Merkel. So in terms of geopolitics and our international interests, absolutely they should start drawing up contingency plans. Like, what if he does this? What if he pulls out of that? But perhaps more importantly, maybe we should start thinking what we're going to do if and when Donald Trump overthrows the legitimate American government. Like, what is our contingency plan there? Like, what would we do if Donald Trump wins the election and then starts behaving erratically? I don't know. What did you do last time? He's already tried to launch a coup. He's already tried his hand at the despot dictator stuff. I don't know. Maybe some of this is sort of British exceptionalism, isn't it? Where we think we, Britain, have to draw up contingency plans. Like, how would we react? What would we do if America fell subservient to a sociopathic dictator? Like, do you want to know what we would actually do? How Britain would react? What we would do on the world stage if we would do absolutely nothing. That's what we would do. By that point, it'd be Prime Minister Starmer. Let's say Donald Trump does overthrow Biden's second-term government. Let's say he does forcibly install himself as the next president, but actually he's a sort of de facto dictator like Vladimir Putin. Let's say that happens. What do you think Keir Starmer is realistically going to do about that? Best you're going to get out of him is there'll be a journalist who'll go like, so do you support Donald Trump installing himself as a dictator in the United States? And Starmer will come out with some sort of vague, beige, wishy-washy. Well, no, I'm not on board with it. I'm not saying that I support it. I'm just saying, we've got to have a relationship with the United States. Anyone that suggests that we're going to go to war with them over this is amping it up a little bit. There's a place for diplomacy and there's a place for me to not do a thing. Over to the Telegraph now, who say time's up for written English GCSE as computers are allowed. Yeah, I mean, it seems about time that we gave students the option to type up their stuff on a laptop instead of archaically sitting there hunched over by candlelight with quill and ink. Like, I think there's always going to be a place for the written word. And as convenient as technology makes communication in many, many ways, nothing can ever really replace that feeling of getting a handwritten letter from someone, can it? Or even just a birthday card. Just seeing that somebody bothered to take the time, they put their phone down, they shut their laptop and they got a biro out and then wrote happy birthday. Like, that's a nice feeling, I think. It's a fuzzy feeling inside I get when I get something handwritten. And so, I mean, not all of the time.
Dear Dad, I never want to speak to you again.
Over to the Times now, who say plant-based fast food is no healthier than meat-based fast food. Right. Okay. So this is the latest of the Times' weird obsession soft PR stories about obesity and fast food. I am still so confused, but actually I'm sort of here on tenterhooks waiting to see what this is all building up to. It's always not the headline, it's always the one just above that or just to the side. It's something about obesity, something about the sugar tax. Like, what sort of stealth policy are they just gently spoon feeding us with these little stories about obesity and cakes and too much fast food? It's like I think we've made it obvious we don't want to do light bites. Just feed us the whole thing, guys. But yeah, plant-based fast food is no healthier than the based fast. I mean, I don't really understand what the point of this story is. Like, surely fast food, it's stuff like it's deep fried chips, it's burgers and hot dogs cooked on a griddle. I mean, surely if you deep fry a cauliflower or deep fry a chicken nugget, either way you're clogging your arteries, right? I don't see how this is so much of a revelation. And I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, like, at all. I love meat. But if I were a veggie or a vegan, I think the reason that I would be because meat is actually quite expensive, and morally I wouldn't feel okay with eating animals. I'm not sure the health benefits would necessarily come into it for me, especially if I'm walking past a motorway lay-by caravan with a big sign out the front saying deep fried Greg's veggie sausage rolls here. Also, there's a sort of they're all the same element to this, isn't there? Well, the plant-based stuff is no healthier than the meat-based stuff. It's almost like that sort of Tories and Labour kind of thing. Well, you may as well vote for the corrupt and sociopathic Tories, because look at Labour over there. They're doing something that is also-ish kind of bad. Like, the whole thing just seems so intellectually bankrupt to me. Like, who writes this stuff? Journalists just sat there tapping away on their laptop. Oh, no, this one probably is like pen, ink and quill. Or maybe that's crediting them too much. Maybe it's just, Crayola. Anyway, what do you guys think? Would you give up on your vegan food because it's just as bad for you as the meat version? Do you think kids should be able to write their essays on laptops, or would you forever condemn them to the archaic practice of handwritten notes? And finally, do you think Donald Trump is a danger to the interests of the United Kingdom? As always, let me know in the comments below. Peace.